burst of speed. The header, another goes in.
Heisman Memorial Trophy. Bryce Young.
A shot with the left foot. 3-1 Crimson Tide. We talked about Alabama. Okay.
Alabama is still Alabama.
Roll Tide and welcome to the Crimson Tide Productions studio here in Bryant-Denny Stadium for another episode of TideTV This Week. I'm Seth Payne along with my co-host Kinsey Hughes. And Kinsey, a lot of exciting stuff going on at the Capstone this week.
A lot of exciting stuff. We got Turkey Day, we got the Iron Bowl, but most importantly, Bama Soccer is still rolling. For the second year in a row, the Alabama soccer team made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament, but this was the first time that the Crimson Tide has ever hosted a second round opponent.
Yeah, the first time that they've ever hosted a second round matchup. The number 1 seed Crimson Tide took on 8 seed Portland this past Friday night.
That's right, and it was a scoreless matchup until the 66th minute. Riley Parker drew a penalty kick. The Pilots goalie blocked Parker's kick, but she couldn't stop the follow-up. Parker kicked it into the corner of the net, and look at those moves. Those moves as she's grittying us all the way against Duke. Kat Rogers takes a shot on goal, and Macy Clem is there to follow it up and gives Bama the number lead.
Portland tied it up on a penalty kick, but the Crimson Tide retook the lead with an own goal. Off the corner kick from Felicia Knox, the ball found its way into the net. That would be the game winner as Alabama advanced to the third round for the first time in program history with a 2-1 win.
That's right. A lot of history is being made, and on Sunday, the number 1 seed Crimson Tide took on UC Irvine. It was a scoreless first half with Alabama getting on the board first in the second half, and a lot of goals come like that. Corner kicks from Felicia Knox, and there's another one. Knox with the kick, and Macy Clem heads it into the net for the score. 4 minutes later, Kat Rogers kicked it into the front of the net to awaiting Ashlyn Serepka. Serepka knocked it in for the 2-0 lead.
And after a goal by UC Irvine in the 65th minute, Felicia Knox would do that. She put the game away on a penalty kick in the 87th minute. Big second half for the Crimson Tide. 3 goals gave Alabama the win as the Tide advanced to the Elite Eight with the 3-1 win.
The biggest adjustment we made at halftime was just talking about just our mentality and coming out with more of an urgency to get forward and be dangerous. And the team did an awesome job of responding that second half, and we looked like a team that was hungry to score goals and win the game.
The Crimson Tide will now take on Duke in the Elite Eight here in Tuscaloosa on Friday night. The winner of that match will move on to the Final Four, known as the College Cup. That will take place in Cary, North Carolina, beginning on Friday, December 2nd.
That's right, and you know who else has been working? The Alabama cross country team, as they wrapped up their season at the NCAA Championships this past weekend in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Yeah, the 5th-ranked Crimson Tide women started the day off with the 6-kilometer race. The women finished a program-best 3rd overall. What a season it's been for the Crimson Tide women. They won the program's first SEC championship since 1987 and first NCAA South Regional title since 1986. They capped it off with the program's best finish at the NCAA Championships. The women had 4 finish in the top 16, led by Hilda Olamomoy, who finished in 6th place.
Championships left and right, and the 25th ranked Crimson Tide men finished 27th. Victor Kiprop led the way, finishing in 66th place. The 27th place finish matches the men's finish last season at the NCAA Championships. And it was a great season for both the women and the men, as the Crimson Tide men also won the SEC Championship.
Yes, it was, and the Crimson Tide also had a program best 4 earn All-America honors. Mercy Chilingat earned her 3rd All-American honor, while Flomena Osakal and Amaris Tenisma took home the honor for the 2nd time, while freshman Hilda Olamomoy earned the honor for the 1st time. Coming up, we will have our Crimson Tide and the NFL Players of the Week and preview this weekend's Iron Bowl matchup. That and more coming up right here on TideTV This Week.
TideTV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, go.
Try it again. Play up up. Play up in.
We need a huge crowd to pack Coleman Coliseum.
Davis with the spin on the layup.
Right to the basket. Lays it up. Lays it in despite the contact.
You better hush your mouth, girl. Stop it, Brittany.
Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
Players play, tough players win championships. If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game. Okay? If you play harder than them, you win the game.
Roll, Tide, roll is exactly doing that. It's hard to hear yourself in here.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness.
Welcome back to Tide TV this week. For the first time in almost a month, the Crimson Tide football team was back inside Bryant-Denny Stadium this past Saturday.
Yeah, it seems like it's been an eternity, but the Crimson Tide squared off against the Austin Peay Governors for the first time in program history. Outside of a couple of field goals from Will Reichard, all of the scoring was done by Jace McClellan and Jermaine Burton. McClellan rushed for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jermaine Burton was on the receiving end of 2 touchdown passes from Bryce Young as he totaled 7 receptions for 128 yards.
Bryce Young completed 18 of 24 passes for 221 yards. The Alabama defense had 2 takeaways in the game as Kool-Aid McKinstry and Brian Branch were locking people down, each having interceptions, as the Crimson Tide rolled over the Governors in their first ever meeting, 34-0.
I was really pleased with the way that the team came out and played today. Thought we controlled the line of scrimmage and, you know, had over 500 yards of total offense. They only had 200 yards or something like that. You know, defense got a couple really key stops after we turned the ball over a couple times in the first quarter in the red zone. So it's always great to get a shutout. You know, like to have scored more points. We got to play a lot of players. I thought Jace McClellan played really well. You know, Burton had a really good day today, and thought Bryce did a nice job. So all in all, we wanted to build on the momentum of, you know, how we came back and played at the end of last week's game, and, you know, obviously that's something that I thought we did a good job of today. So it wasn't perfect. We had some guys out, but other guys got opportunity to get experience, and I think that's probably a good thing for our team.
Coach Saban and the coaching staff named 9 players of the week in the win over Austin Peay. Jermaine Burton led the Crimson Tide with 127 receiving yards, while Jace McClellan had a career-high 156 yards on the ground. Center Seth McLaughlin rounded out the selections on offense.
Yeah, representing for us Seths out there. On defense, Brian Branch and Henry To'oTo'o led the team with 8 tackles each, while DeMarco Helms finished with 7, and Will Anderson Jr. had 4 of his own.
Rounding out the players of the week were Christian Leary and Quandarius Robinson on special teams. Let's now take a look at our Crimson Tide and the NFL players of the week. And Seth, we know Derrick Henry can run, but did you know that he was a pretty good passer too?
Seen him have a couple of jump passes, but he's one of the best running backs to ever play the game, and he showed there's more to his game than just running over people, which he does extremely well. Henry totaled 138 yards as he rushed for 87 yards and a touchdown and caught 2 passes for 45 yards in the Titans' 27-17 win over the Green Bay Packers. But that wasn't all. Henry showed he could literally do it all as he was 2 of 2 passing with a 3-yard touchdown pass.
That's why they call him King Henry, but Najee Harris had a big game for the Pittsburgh Steelers as he rushed for 90 yards on 19 carries with 2 rushing touchdowns. Harris also had 4 receptions for 26 yards as he totaled 116 yards on the day.
Starting to round into form, as is Amari Cooper. He had a game-high 113 yards receiving and 2 touchdown receptions in the Cleveland Browns' loss to the Buffalo Bills. The 113 yards were the second most this season for Cooper.
Cool. But we're talking about defense now, and we're talking about Marlon Humphrey, who had 2 takeaways for the Baltimore Ravens in their 13-3 win over the Carolina Panthers. Humphrey had an interception and a fumble recovery to go along with a pass deflection and 2 tackles.
Sticking with defense, Jonathan Allen was a force for the Washington Commanders. Allen had 3 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 4 quarterback hurries in their 23-10 win over the Houston Texans. That's our Crimson Tide NFL Players of the Week, Kinsey. Coming up next, we're going to preview one of the best rivalries in all of sports. Throughout the history of the Iron Bowl, there have been so many great moments in games.
That's right, Seth, there have been, and not all have necessarily been in favor of the Crimson Tide, but a lot of them have been, as the Crimson Tide leads all-time series against Auburn 48-37 with a tie somewhere in there.
And before we preview this year's matchup, let's take a look at some of those moments from the Iron Bowl that are our favorites. These Iron Bowl highlights are brought to you by ATI.
The deep back. The tiny way it is to deep back. Man in motion right. Here's Stabler, keeping himself. Now cuts in. He's at the 40-yard line. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He scores. Kenny Stabler takes it in.
The game is over. The man has made history. 315 wins.
As I said at the top of the show, and I want to say it again, that all of us of the coaching profession that are of this era believe in that man, believe that he is the best coach of our time, if not the greatest coach of all time.
To go for the touchdown. So the critical play of the game right here. On 4th down and goal. It's Fullwood, and he is stopped. And will they talk about that play for years? With 3:27 to go in the game, Rory Turner ran him out of bounds, and that will be forever ingrained in the lore of this rivalry.
There is the snap, the kick. It is in the air. It has distance. It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! Van Tiffin has won the ball game. Alabama has beaten Auburn. Van Tiffin has kicked a 52-yard field goal, and the state of Alabama is crimson.
The pressure just etched on the faces of everybody watching. Kitchens gets the snap, throws left middle, makes the grab 5, angles by 3, 2, 1. Touchdown! 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 With 26 seconds to go, this Iron Bowl is tied at 23.
They got the big fella in the backfield. They're going to play action on the rollout. McElroy. Touchdown up Church! Alabama's first win at Auburn since 2001.
Rice gets the snap, behind, looks, throws the fade route, near side end zone, got it! Oh, touchdown Alabama! Caught by Ja'Cory Brooks in the end zone. In the shotgun, gets the snap, backpedals, looks left, throws, touchdown! 2-point conversion, and Alabama wins. John Mechie on the grab, and Alabama has come from nowhere to defeat the Auburn Tigers in multiple overtimes. 24-22, the Crimson Tide wins the Iron Bowl of 2021.
Tide TV This Week is presented by Ford. For great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
As a Main Street bank, PNC has helped over 7 million kids develop their passion for learning through our Grow Up Great initiative. And now, we're providing billions of dollars for affordable home lending programs as part of $88 billion to support underserved communities, including loans for small businesses and low and moderate income areas. So everyone has a chance to move forward financially. PNC Bank. See how we can make a difference for you.
I need to try it first.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. It is Rivalry Week. Some of the best games of the college football season will be played this week, and the best rivalry in all of college football will take place in Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday.
That's right, Seth, and we call it the Iron Bowl for those who don't know. And to give you a little preview of the Iron Bowl, we've got our Christopher England joining us now. Chris?
It's the 87th meeting of the Iron Bowl as Alabama takes on Auburn in Bryant-Denny on Saturday. The Crimson Tide have won the last 2 matchups over the Tigers, including 8 out of the last 11. Alabama has won 5 in a row in Tuscaloosa, including a dominating 42-13 victory in the last matchup in Bryant-Denny back in 2020. Last season, it took a 97-yard drive with just over a minute and a half to go just to tie the game. And then, with the score tied at 22 in the 4th overtime, Alabama was just too much. Kool-Aid McKinstry batted down the pass from T.J. Finley, and then going for the win, Bryce Young connected with John Mechie for the 2-point conversion, and the victory. Alabama defeated Auburn 24-22 to win their second consecutive Iron Bowl.
This is one of the greatest, rivalry games in college football. Most every team in rivalry games, it's a part of their legacy in terms of how did they do in the rivalry game. And this is one of the biggest ones, and it means a lot to a lot of people in our state. It means a lot to, us, our players, and our fans, and we're going to do the best job we can to, get ready for, this game.
Brian Harsin started the season as the head coach of the Auburn Tigers. After just 21 games and a 9-12 record, Harsin was fired after the 41-27 Week 8 loss to Arkansas. Former Auburn running back Carnell Williams took over as interim coach, re-energizing the team and fan base. Cadillac picked up his first win as head coach as the Tigers defeated Texas A&M 13-10 in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Last week, Carnell moved to 2-1 as the Tigers head coach with a 41-17 victory over Western Kentucky.
He's done a great job. The energy, the enthusiasm, the way the guys are competing and playing, the way they played to win, and that was his personality as a player. This is a very challenging, game for us, and our players are going to have to do a great job of getting prepared to play as well as we played all season.
Auburn is 12th in the SEC in scoring offense, averaging 24 points per game. The Tigers have had trouble moving the ball through the air. Auburn is dead last in the Southeastern Conference and 115th in the nation in passing with just 181 yards per game. Auburn is also last in the SEC in pass completion percentage and interceptions, having thrown 12 on the season. TJ Finley started the season as the starting quarterback, but freshman Robbie Ashford has taken over. Ashford from Hoover transferred from Oregon before the season. Ashford is completing 49% of his passes for 1,536 yards with 6 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Ashford is a threat to run, though. He averages 4.3 yards per carry as he's rushed for 589 yards with 5 touchdowns on the season. Anchoring the Tigers' backfield is junior Tank Bigsby. Bigsby has a team-high 907 rushing yards on the season with 10 touchdowns. On defense, Auburn ranks 12th in the SEC in scoring defense, allowing 28 points per game to opponents. One of the trouble spots for the Crimson Tide this season has been the turnover margin. Alabama is 11th in the SEC at -4 on the year, but the Tigers have been worse. Auburn is last in the conference in turnover margin and 120th in the nation at -9, giving up 21 turnovers on the season while only taking away 12. Kickoff of the 87th Iron Bowl in Bryant-Denny Stadium is set for 2:30 on Saturday. It's the SEC on CBS Game of the Week. Stay with us. We'll have more Tide TV this week coming up next.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game.
Somebody stop me, I'm on a groove.
There you see the Crimson Tide ready to go.
Go.
Campbell down in Alabama. There's Jacobs.
Taken by Layla Smith.
Down and Alabama's back on top. Blocked by Jacobs. And blocked for
Alabama, they need a service drive.
Are you kidding me? Ray. And a point for Alabama on a long rally.
Move.
Welcome back to Tide TV this week. The Alabama men's basketball team was back in Coleman Coliseum this past Friday night. The 18th ranked Crimson Tide took on Jacksonville State for the 3rd straight season.
That's right, and Alabama had struggled from beyond the arc going into this one and with the Gamecocks, but the Tide found their stroke at home on Friday night, knocking down, get this, 21 three-pointers. 21 threes.
Crazy.
It was just the 3rd time in school history that the Crimson Tide made 20 threes or more in a game. And Brandon Miller led the Crimson Tide with 28 points as he shot lights out from beyond the arc, knocking down 7 of his 9 three-point attempts.
Namari Burnett was also hot from downtown as he connected on 5 of his 6 three-point attempts. Alabama led by just 12 at the half, 51-39, but the Crimson Tide pulled away in the second half, outscoring the Gamecocks 53-23 in the final 20 minutes of play.
Absolutely wild. And the Crimson Tide defense was also locking them up down the stretch, allowing Jacksonville State just 17 points over the final 17 minutes of play. The Tide rolled big, 104-62.
And along with Brandon Miller and Namari Burnett, Mark Sears finished in double figures in points as he had 18. Noah Clowney finished with 8 points and a game-high 10 rebounds.
And Brandon Miller was named the SEC Freshman of the Week as he averaged 23.5 points and 8 rebounds in wins over South Alabama and Jacksonville State. Miller is averaging over 20 points per game, ranking 2nd overall in the SEC and number 1 among all freshmen in the NCAA. It was also Brandon's birthday this week, so it's a pretty good present, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Brandon.
A great start to the season for him. The Alabama men's basketball team will be spending the week of Thanksgiving in Oregon, competing in the Phil Knight Invitational.
That's right. You know who else is on the road? The Alabama women's basketball team has just been hanging out in paradise lately.
Oh, absolutely.
They've been in the Bahamas, and Coach Curry and the Crimson Tide are taking part in the Pink Flamingo Championships in Nassau.
I would like to take part in the Pink Flamingo Championships as well. Alabama opened up play against 17th ranked Utah. The Tide jumped out to an 8-0 lead to begin the game, and that hot start continued as Bama led 31-23 at the end of the first period. Alabama built their largest lead of the half at 40-29 with just over 7 minutes remaining in the second period.
That's right. The difference, though, in the game was the third period surge by Utah and their free throw shooting. The Utes outscored the Tide 27-16 in that third period and knocked down an incredible 27 of 28 free throw attempts to just 12 of 14 for the Crimson Tide. Alabama kept pace with Utah as they each scored 18 in the fourth, but the third period was the difference as the Tide's upset bid fell short 97-86.
Well, the Crimson Tide wrapped up play in the Bahamas on Wednesday morning with a matchup against Wake Forest. And Chrissy Curry's squad closed out the Pink Flamingo Championships with a big 61-58 win over Wake Forest. Meg Abrams led the Crimson Tide with 14 points. Brittany Davis had 12 and 7 rebounds, while Jada Rice finished with 11. Alabama improves to 3-2 on the year with the win. And the Crimson Tide will be back in action on Sunday in Coleman Coliseum. They will take on Gardner-Webb at 2 o'clock.
And then Alabama volleyball has also got a couple of games coming up, and their season's winding down. They've got one left at home. Their final road match of the season was this past weekend as the Tide traveled to Fayetteville to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks.
And the Tide played 2 on Saturday and Sunday, but unfortunately, the Crimson Tide fell in 3 sets in both matches. The Crimson Tide close out the regular season with 2 matches this week against Tennessee.
Stay with us. We'll have our Players of the Week coming up next in just 90 seconds.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
Players play, tough players win championships. If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game. Okay? You play harder than them, you win the game.
Roll, Tide, roll is exactly doing that. It's hard to hear yourself in here.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. Let's take a look at our Players of the Week brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
That's right. And we are starting out with Jace McClellan. He had a career day in Alabama's win over Austin Peay. McClellan totaled a career high 156 yards on just 17 carries as he averaged over 9 yards per rush with 2 touchdowns.
That's a lot of yards, and we're moving to Brandon Miller in basketball. He was named the SEC Freshman of the Week for his performance in the wins over South Alabama and Jacksonville State. Miller scored 19 with 8 rebounds against the Jags, and against the Gamecocks, Miller finished with a season-high 28 points and 8 rebounds as he knocked down 7 of his 9 three-point attempts.
Great start for him. A great season for Felicia Knox. She had a big game in the win to advance the Crimson Tide to the Elite Eight. Knox had an assist on Alabama's first goal of the game from Macy Clem, and then Knox converted a penalty kick for the final goal of the game to give Alabama the 3-1 win.
It's been awesome watching them play.
Been fantastic.
Really enjoyed it. Congratulations to our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week.
Yeah, we hope you have had a great Thanksgiving week, and we hope to see you back here next week for another episode of Tide TV This Week.
That's right. Happy Turkey Day, and have a great weekend. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, everybody.
This has been a presentation from Learfield.